You probably haven't heard of Paul DeJoria, but surely you've heard of the Paul Mitchell brand of hair products, or perhaps you've enjoyed Patron Tequila. Paul DeJoria started both companies in the 1980s, taking his wealth from $700 to today to approximately $3 billion. He is the son of immigrants, spent time in foster care, eventually became homeless, and is now a multi-billionaire who built some of the world's most iconic and recognized brands. Paul DeJoria's story is an example of the American dream in action. Let's find out how he did it and what his biggest secrets to success are. Hi, and welcome to our channel, where we look at famous figures and entrepreneurs and peel back the curtain of their achievements, so we can learn the secrets of their success. If you like what you see, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to our channel for more inspiring videos about the lives, successes, and lessons learned of some of the most famous business figures of our time. In this video, we will look at DeJoria's humble beginnings as a child of a single mother. We'll follow him through his life in the Navy, his time as a homeless single father, and his years spent working as a janitor and encyclopedia salesman. We'll find out how DeJoria took a $700 loan and built Paul Mitchell while living in his car, before going on to start Patron Tequila. And finally, we'll look at how he stayed true to his values to build a business that mattered to him, and talk about how your own values can guide you on your path to success. Let's jump in. Paul DeJoria was born in 1944 to Greek and Italian immigrant parents. His father left when he was 2, leaving him and his brother to live with their mother. At one point, DeJoria even spent time in foster care during the week because his mother couldn't afford to care for him and his brother while she worked. At 9 years old, he started selling cards and newspapers to support his family. Can you imagine having a rough start? Maybe you had a rough start yourself, and you've worked hard to overcome it. Or maybe this is a good reminder that your beginnings don't determine where you end up. DeJoria worked as a janitor in his teenage years, and went on to spend 2 years in the Navy. After that, he and his wife had a baby. One day, his wife took the keys to the car, and he came home to find his son sitting in a laundry basket outside the apartment. They had been evicted. His wife had left, and he and his son were now homeless, and were forced to move in with a friend. DeJoria worked as an announcer at a racetrack, a tow truck driver, and a door-to-door encyclopedia salesman, all to support himself and his son. As a door-to-door encyclopedia salesman, he learned his biggest lessons in business, a lesson he would later apply to his ventures that would make them billion-dollar enterprises. And what were these lessons? They were lessons that made him so successful as an encyclopedia salesman that he did it for 3.5 years, when the average salesperson only lasted 3 days in the industry. Here is where he formed 2 foundational philosophies. First was, when 10 doors are shut in your face, go to number 11 enthusiastically, with a smile on your face. This made him resilient and inoculated him against the crippling disappointment of failure. Ask yourself, if you're facing a lot of shut doors, will you keep trying to approach the next door you're faced with the same enthusiasm as you had knocked on the very first door? It is this enthusiasm for his life and work that have made DeJoria a success. And second, he learned not to be in the selling business. How ironic is that? What he realized was that instead of being in the selling business, to be in the reorder business. So no matter who you sell anything to, make your service and product so good that they want to reorder and reorder and reorder again, or they want to tell someone else how great their experience was and how great the product or service was, and that gets you referral after referral. He believed in telling people the truth, and to be so great with them that you can follow up later and they will reorder and reorder again, or give you referrals for your next order. He believes in being kind to people, and to look them in the eye, and to know your product is so good that your own mother will want this product. We can agree these are tremendous principles we can all bring to our own careers. He also brought those same principles when he went to work for hair care companies Redken and Firmadil Hair Care as a sales rep. He was fired from both companies, not because of lack of success, but because of principle and value issues with those companies. He kept conflicting with what he perceived to be a lack of moral and ethical issues on their part. But his time there allowed him to learn the ins and outs of the hair care industry, and he realized he was now ready to start his own company. However, he was once again homeless, living in his car and picking up bottles and cans to return for recycling cash. It was then that he and a friend named Paul Mitchell, who was a struggling hairstylist, teamed up and started John Paul Mitchell Systems. They started the company with almost no money, as they had a few $100s between them, but they both had a desire to bring a great product and service to the marketplace. They started by approaching hair salons to sell their product. The hair salons would be their marketers. This genius idea allowed their brand to grow quickly and to allow faster and more credible exposure of their products. The salons became their ambassadors. The company struggled for the first 2 years with normal growing pains, but by year 3, they broke $1 million in profits. DeJoria points out that when you start with next to nothing, all you've got is a lot of thought, a lot of innovation, figuring new ways to do things without using a lot of money. He stuck it out through those first difficult years and it paid off. So how about you? Have you let go of a project because you didn't have the funds or things didn't seem to be picking up fast enough? What if you returned to it and gave it another shot? Are there innovative ways of tackling those problems that you haven't thought of yet? Resourcefulness is the #1 tool of an entrepreneur. Another secret to DeJoria's success is how meticulous he is about his products. He tests every single one on himself. If he doesn't like it, it doesn't get sold. He stands behind everything they sell. He's also an animal lover and advocate, and John Paul Mitchell Systems became the first hair company to publicly state their commitment to being cruelty-free. This is a great example of how DeJoria let his values guide him in business. Not only was it an ethical choice, it was a choice that made good business sense. Think about your own values and the causes that you are passionate about. Can you bring those into your career decisions to set you apart from the pack? John Paul Mitchell Systems is today the largest privately held hair care line, and their products still today are only sold through salons, an amazing success story. In 1989, DeJoria started another project with a friend. After drinking together and lamenting the lack of quality liquor, he and his friend started the Patrón Tequila Company. He was laughed at in the beginning because people didn't think there would be a market for $40 bottles of tequila, which was very expensive in 1989. So with the same enthusiasm and excitement that he built with Paul Mitchell, he launched Patrón Tequila. And within a short time, Patrón became the world's best-selling premium tequila brand, now selling for upwards of $80 a bottle. In 2018, DeJoria sold the company to Bacardi for an astounding $5.1 billion, yes, $5.1 billion. He also went on to co-found John Paul Pet, Rocket, and many more enterprises. In addition to being an animal lover, DeJoria is also an environmentalist with a number of green initiatives. Patrón has always been bottled in recycled glass, even though it was more expensive to produce. The company also turns waste from the distilling process into fertilizer, rather than creating a toxic byproduct which is often dumped into water sources. Paul Mitchell also has a carbon-neutral tea tree shampoo line, and the Paul Mitchell warehouse is run on solar energy. In another innovative move, DeJoria pays the price of gas for employees who carpool to work together. DeJoria is also a philanthropist who has signed on to the Giving Pledge, which is an initiative which encourages very wealthy people to give away the majority of their wealth to charity. DeJoria gives his money to dozens of charities, and he's also started the Peace, Love and Happiness Foundation, which aims to invest in people, protect animals, and conserve the environment. Another initiative of his is the Mobile Loaves and Fishes community, which is a community of tiny homes that provides homeless people who have been living on the street for over a year a place to live. It also provides them with education in various job skills and gardening, allowing them to grow their own food, earn more income, and have a stable place to live. Paul DeJoria is a self-made billionaire who has made his fortune by persevering and selling socially and environmentally conscious products that he stands by. Throughout his rise to success, he has demonstrated kindness, generosity, and integrity. DeJoria has said that success unshared is failure. Guided by his values and principles, he has created lasting brands that continue to impact people's lives all over the world. What will you take away from his story? And how will you share your success? Let us know in the comments below. Until then, keep your enthusiasm each day, be resourceful, stay true to your values, and let them guide you as you build something you can be proud of.